Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. And today we have our very special guest, Mr. Adarsh. He's an environmentalist and then a mentor for mental wellness. He's a mental wellness coach. So we would like to invite Mr. Adarsh. So, Mr. Adarsh, like, what would you be teaching us today?
Yeah. First of all, I thank Sanjeevana for giving me such an opportunity to present in such an podcast and so on. And uh, today we'll discuss about the adverse effects of aquatic weeds and plants towards the environment and human health.
Mhm.
So, shall we move into the session, Sanjeevana?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, let's discuss about what are these aquatic weeds and so on.
Huh.
Let's move into the session. First of all, we'll look about what is aquatic weeds and so on.
Mm.
Aquatic weeds are this nothing but they are fast growing invasive plant species that colonize water surface or grow on the surface of the water. Mean they either submerge on this water or they even grow on the top part of the water. Let's look about some of the species of invasive water weeds that
Mm.
are being generally into these water bodies. Let's look one by one. First of all, we'll look about a species named as Iconia caraspians.
Mm.
This is generally termed to be as water hyacinth. In pure Tamil, we'll say it as Agaya Tamarai,
Mhm.
one among the species which is being imported to this particular southern part of Asia from European countries.
Mhm.
I'll say you a wonderful story regarding this species about invasion in India.
Mhm.
Once after this East Indian Company came India, one among the general's wife had an interest to this particular flower, I mean water hyacinth flower. So what he done is that he just imported this particular species from Europe to India, and this particular flower is being dumped to an water body, I mean water body.
Uh-huh.
So what happened is that this particular seed has the viability to develop, I mean grow into like an huge extent.
Uh-huh.
As really mentioned, this plant is an invasive species. A
Mhm.
single plant, a single part of water as in plant can cover a acre of an particular water body in just 40 to 60 days.
Wow.
According to surveys that this particular species can grow, a single plant can grow nearly a completed acre of water body in just 60 days.
Mhm.
And that's how this plant is introduced in India and mean southern part of this Asia, and this particular plant has a specific nickname as to be a tiger of Bengal or Bengal tiger.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's the story of water hyacinth in India.
Uh-huh.
The next species is that it's Salivina molesta. Salivina molesta is another such type of plant that is has its invasive nature in environment. Next, we'll look up with Hydrilla and Pisita stabilis, and it's somewhat an biological name.
Uh-huh.
We'll commonly term it as water lettuce, and that's the name of this plant. All know about Hydrilla. We'll see generally a pond filled with Hydrilla and so on,
Uh-huh.
and that's these are some of the species that I am uh, being discussed in this particular podcast, and we'll look more about its adverse effect and how it could be reduced and its how we'll say that its nature towards this grow its growth and how it could be controlled and so on this podcast.
Okay.
And
So,
next
other,
we'll
sorry,
see
yeah.
about,
So
yeah,
that one was Salvinia, right? We call Salvinia.
yeah, Salvinia molesta.
And the other one was Hydrilla, what we put in the fish tanks.
Yeah,
Hydrilla.
Hydrilla not, that's just an ornamental weed that will use in fish tank. One or two will use in this fish tank. Yeah, exactly what you said is that this
Uh,
Hydrilla plant.
okay.
But when it is in a group, they become invasive and they
Invest.
cover the entire lake surface and so on. It is
Wow.
another catastrophic problem for one
Uh-huh.
those clean this particular Hydrilla in this
Uh-huh.
lakes and ponds.
Okay.
And next we'll look of why do these plants thrive, or how they, I mean, how their growth depends. The main reason that is that untreated sewage
Mm,
that's entering into the lakes and pond ecosystem or any river ecosystem.
mhm,
The first reason is that the sewage that is being untreated, all effluents that is being allowed from this industries, home and hospitals are directly not treated and they are directly discharged into this particular water bodies, increasing the water bodies alkalinity pH and
mm,
making an medium for the growth of these particular invasive plants.
mhm,
Second is that every agriculturalist is who does for agriculture works. Mean
mm,
farmers. I am primarily focusing on these farmers. Farmers generally uh, put pesticides and other nutrient-rich uh, goods. Mean nutrient-rich products to this enrichment of and the enriching yield of this particular plants and crops. When in rainy season these particular nutrients just wash off to river bodies and they create the water in such a way that they are nutrition rich for this development of this particular plants. That's another problem that's enriching this growth of particular water weeds. And next of warm tropical climates,
mhm,
climatic action also has an adverse effect in this growth of water weeds. How I'll say that these tropical regions has an adverse increase in this and invasive water weeds. I will consider with that of Lake Victoria in Africa.
uh-huh,
It's the particular lake that is rich in, mean that is getting more amount of warmer climate for this particular species of water has in to grow into a large amount.
mhm, mhm,
Many governmental NGOs in Africa is facing an huge problem to remove this particular stuffs from water. As even a single seed can enlarge and mean even a single seed is having the viability to reproduce in just 10 to 15 days and they'll multiply on soon.
mhm,
So that's another catastrophic effect. Finally, that is of stagnant or slow flowing water. Mean that with of ponds and other slow running bodies where water gets stagnant of. What happens is that the pH level of this particular water rises as when this water is getting stagnant. So there comes an viable condition for this particular plants to grow on.
mhm,
Then we'll look off with the nutrient level supporting the particular growth of these plants.
mhm,
Nitrates, phosphates, and BODs. BODs is biological oxygen demands, we will say. And nitrates is that nitrates should have at least 1.5 milligrams per liter.
mhm,
And phosphate is same that 0.1 milligrams per liter. And BODs are nothing which is having a direct impact in relation with that of sewage.
mhm,
If
mhm,
this BODs are increased in a particular water, we'll consider that particular water to be as an sewage water or untreated water. And this, if this BOD is greater than 5 milligrams per liter, that's another problem. Mean another nutrient level which supports this particular growth of this water bodies. Then next, what's the ecological impact that create in this water ecosystem and so on. First, we'll look off with the oxygen depletion, biodiversity collapse, and we'll move off with disturbance in ecosystem balance. First, oxygen depletion. This particular water hyacinth plant has the capability to reduce mean trap 90 percentage of water that 90 percentage of sunlight that penetrate to water. They covers the surface of this water bodies and they'll not allow the sunlight to penetrate into the water. We know that oxygen process. I mean, dissolved oxygen gets more into water when this sunlight has a direct action to this water, so that oxygen molecule has oxygen molecule mixes with water bodies and dissolved oxygen produces. If this particular invasive species cover over this water body and not allowing for the penetration of sunlight into the water, that's another reason which these plants get rises. And first reason is that oxygen depletion.
Mm.
As a survey says that nearly 2 milligrams of per liter of oxygen is being depleting, or it's fall down due to the invasive species that grows in this water bodies.
Mm.
This what happens if this particular oxygen depletion occurs is that just massive deaths of fish occurs in this water bodies. That's the another main catastrophic reason that comes into this point of view. And next we'll move off with biodiversity collapse. How this biodiversity gets collapsed with this particular growth of invasive species? Let you know with an example.
Sure.
Lakes in Karnataka, a state in India, saw 60 to 70 percentage loss of its native species. I'll tell you with an example. In similarly, the case is with that of Lake Victoria in Africa.
Africa.
The similar case exists as this, as mentioned as this Carnatic lake. It's lost. It has an sad loss of 60 to 70 percentage loss of flora and fauna in this particular aquatic, water body. And next of zooplankton. Zooplankton. Many of you have seen this in many movies, that of a blue color bloom in the seas and
Ah, the
other.
sea. Ha,
Yeah,
ha, ha.
yeah. Blue
Yeah, yeah.
color bloom that comes in night.
Ha, ha, ha.
Many
In
of
the
you have
ocean,
witnessed.
like the whales and all eat the plankton, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same zooplankton.
Ha, ha.
The zooplankton population has also dropped due to this growth of this invasive species,
Mm.
which has affected the total food chain.
Oh,
In considering Atlantic, I think so. It's Atlantic Lake, Atlantic Ocean.
ocean.
Nearly 20 percentage of this food chain is being collapsed due to drop in the zooplankton. As this fish feed on the primary source for this small fishes is through zooplankton, this water bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So if the zooplankton, the primary source is getting affected, the upper trophic level will also has an adverse, have been an advancing effect in
Mm-hmm.
this food chain. Then we'll look on with the disturbance in ecosystem balance.
Mm-hmm.
As earlier mentioned, the zooplankton get depleted on. So the primary food source is being depleted there. There's a gap between this predator and this prey. So the natural predators will generally drop to disappear as
Mm.
when this happens on. I am saying, letting know this in ocean ecosystem.
Mm.
And next, algal bloom increase. You know that if there is an algal bloom in the particular locality, no
Mm.
particular species will have thrive in that locality, as this algal bloom will cover all those surface part of this water, and they will not allow this other organism to thrive in this water body. That's
Oh.
another great issue that is being focused in this disturbance in ecosystem balance. And finally, we will know about turtles. Turtles, small fishes, and native plant species will generally get vanished off. These turtles already I mentioned, they too even feed off this zooplankton and this particular small fishes. If they haven't get supplied with the particular food or supplement there, which is required for basic for their life, they just thrive off. They just enter into the species which are endangered, or
Mm.
they'll extinct. If this particular scenario continues off, the species will just extinct off.
Mm-hmm.
And economic impact. what are the economic impact that are being faced due to this aquatic species in water bodies and so on. Municipality cost. First, we look up with municipality cost. Chennai and Coimbatore, two among the prominent cities in Tamil Nadu, is spending nearly 10 to 20 lakhs per lake to clean this aquatic weeds and so on. And nearly a survey says that Indian government is spending 1,000+ crores in removing all those removing all those water plants and cleaning of this water ecosystem, lake ecosystems. Next, we'll look up with the fishing and livelihood. You know that when coming into an fish lake or a pond, the primary activity that is done by these people is fishing. If this particular plants invasive species cover all those part of surface of this water, how could these fishermen and other who are living based on this who are dependent on this lake will live? How will they sustain their livelihood if this particular continues on? That's another issue which is been a catastrophic problem in this India, faced by this fishermen and other people who are related in fishing in this particular water ecosystem. And they nearly spends 8,000 to 20,000 per month to clear from their side, to clear those weeds from this particular water system. As mentioned, they are dependent on this lake for their survival. So they are primarily their source should be fishes and other fishes for their what they need to sell those fishes and they should earn from that particular fishes what they are selling. If the means of survival is being restricted, then what will they do? They should remove this particular species and they should then move off. Then tourism. Any government that exists now is promoting tourism in huge amount. Nearly 4.5 crores is being deployed by this tourist department of India to clean all those water bodies in this for promoting tourism. As for tourism in this lake ecosystem, we will consider that of boating and other activities that are related to this lakes. So if these plans hinder that particular, then there would be a huge loss in that. So even this tourism body is also having an adverse effect due to this particular plant and other invasive species. Then we'll move with how this public health is affecting due to this water weeds and so on. Mosquito breeding is the first problem that is faced by people's. Mosquito breeding is main problem that is faced. First, we'll know that malarial disease is caused by one among the malarial parasite, which is Anopheles mosquitoes. These are the causative agents for malarial disease. This finds it viable region to lay its egg in the top of this. This flower of this water hyacinth has an viability to a warm condition to make this sprout this mosquito eggs. So these mosquitoes will use that as an opportunity to lay their eggs. So there's a huge bloom in this malarial mosquitoes, and there's an cause for malarial disease in water bodies. Uh, yeah, in Bendalur, a lake named as Bendalur, registered that and 3 times of increase in mosquitoes due to this growth of this particular water hyacinth plant in water hyacinth and other invasive heavy weeds. We'll say this as heavy weeds. So in this particular water bodies. Next, that of with toxicity in water. As mentioned, these plants increases the toxicity BOD level of this water bodies. So nearly an BOD increase of 10 milligrams per liter is a drastic increase in this water bodies, which affects the normal recreational activities that people are dependent on this water bodies. Then pathogen spread. Pathogen is nothing other than the foreign body which is being invited to this, which enters into the body. Water test has been conducted in many of the lakes and other ecosystem where this invasive species have been made there, and they analyze that a huge growth and rise in pathogen level in this particular water bodies. Pathogens such as E. coli, Salmonella, Helminths are some of the pathogens that are in this water. I mean,
Mhm.
water where this plants are there. What this cause is that E. coli is in such in one way it's a good bacteria which helps in body. When its effects is more, or when it is in a huge number, creates another and problem in human body, and which couldn't be bared by normal humans who are under the poverty line.
Mhm.
Then we'll move on with an case study in one among the lakes that have been conducted in 2020, 2020, 2021 in that particular region.
Mhm.
Ukkadam Lake, one among the prominent lake in Coimbatore smart city, one among the lake, one among the seven lakes in Coimbatore city, which comes under Tamil Nadu government, and so on. Ukkadam Lakes, nearly 65 to 70 percentage. That Ukkadam Lake nearly covers 330 acres, and 70 percentage of this lake is covered with this particular stuff, water hyacinth. And municipality in that particular period has deployed nearly 35 to 40 lakhs in just cleaning particular lakes.
Mhm.
It's a huge amount that an municipality is deploying in cleaning of this particular water lake. And with that of cleaning, then generally there will be a question: is this problem get reduced or not? In 45, just 45 days after this cleaning, the plant starts its regrowth,
Mhm.
and it covered the whole lake in another 2 months, rather than how what the municipality has cleaned. So it's a huge problem in India, not only in India, many of the southern countries, southern Asian countries is facing the same problem.
Mhm.
Then next we'll go with the population in pollution input. Pollution input says that this particular lake has an increased in rate of nitrate by 3.1 milligram per liter.
Mhm.
Nitrate increase has increased a drastic increase to 3.1 milligram per liter. So the drinking level of consumption of water get reduced as the nitrate and BOD level of the water get increased. Then we'll move with more of with sessions and uh, how it could be reduced. There are many such case studies in this. If we need to speak of, we'll just conclude with one or two.
Sure, sure.
So, what are the things that could be done to reduce this invasive growth of water weeds? Is that first to reduce this growth of these plants. So, how will reduce that plant? First spread is that you should treat those sewage plants. First, the primary need is that treating of sewage plant is the primary. Yeah, many of the industries, not only in our particular locality, many industries is directly discharging its waste directly to water bodies
Mhm.
untreatedly. This create a greater catastrophic problem, which causes huge another problems, which means that health hazards. How many departments you just consider on the municipality of a particular locality should look after this. The sanitary department, who is looking after the health and other health and other concerned, which should look after this. Pollution control board, which is an major body who controls, who plans and events for controlling this pollution of that particular state and body. They should look after this. How many departments are directly being involving in this?
Mm-hmm.
These are just due to the things what people does.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, we cannot change the total system, but we can make somewhat improvements in system so that the effect could be reduced even by 50 percentage.
Mm-hmm.
50 percentage increase reduction in this uh, growth of this, mean controlling this water weeds will help a more a lot,
Mm-hmm.
as these are being used for this, what I'll say, this generally has an adverse effect in health and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be under a prime consideration. Another thing is that there's an exactly business opportunity from this water weeds. This water weeds could be processed and these briquettes could be used for many other purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an huge business opportunity in this particular waste that is being generated from this water bodies too. So people can also look for that too. They can contact the government bodies. They can collect all those weeds, and they can even generate a huge amount of revenue from all those water bodies. I am planning for an course for that, and I am working for that. Once after completion, we'll proceed with that, and I'll guide people with how to earn from this environmental products or environmental plants that are creating hazards to human health and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, a human has an direct impact in all these activities. So I request, it's an humble request from my side, not each and everyone's contribution has a drastic effect in environmental sustainability and environment in future days. And by here, I thank Sanjeevna for providing me such an opportunity, and thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Adarsh. Eh?
Okay, thank you.
So others, like even in a small way, like for example, uh, some people just maybe from their fish tank or pond, like when we're talking about things like hydrilla and all, they might just go and
Yeah,
throw into a waterway, no? Because like that,
yeah,
like the invasive fish types, these water weeds also
yeah,
sometimes they just go and throw, no? Yeah.
yeah,
So then
exactly.
it can help to spread, right?
That shouldn't be done.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's
that
better to
shouldn't be disposed directly to this water. Even a single, not a single, a cluster of plants can, hydrilla plants can develop. They develop by, I will say that, regeneration.
Mhm.
They regeneration and even by fragmentation. They split into fragments and they spread all over this water bodies that they thrives on.
Mhm.
Mean that they live, mean that they survive in. So covering that whole particular body within a few time period.
Mhm.
So it's my kind request that those who are using this hydrilla plants and in this fish tanks, don't dispose into this water bodies directly. You can just put in terrestrial areas. This is one among the plant that has an high nutrition quality, which
Mhm.
sustains the greater yields of crops.
Oops.
So what you can do is that if there is a huge amount, you can just give it to some of among the farmers, or they'll dry off and they'll use that as an fertilizer for their crops.
Hmm. And some houses they put their wastewater and all these things to like rivers and ponds, no, or lakes.
Yeah,
So, like you said,
yeah,
like the dirty
yeah,
water from the toilets, maybe that can go and then it can make like fertilizer for these kind of plants. And then
yeah.
actually, it's very bad to do it.
Even there's an two or three startups I know,
Mm-hmm.
from they are generally using this human waste to general turn into an fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
human waste could be dried and they could be used as a fertilizer
Uh-huh.
for the yield of crops.
Yeah, yeah. And
Even that's an yeah,
I also saw like some plant like they do like how to say they take that gas even from humans and then use it to fertilize
yeah,
like just like the
yeah,
biogas
exactly,
from
Sanjeevna.
cows and all.
Biogas.
Uh,
Yeah.
then the other part when it's not in like the like feces or like excreta stage, like it's like compost, no?
Mm,
And then they use it for
yeah.
uh, as fertilizer, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
One among the one among my friend has built a small biogas plant. Biogas plant is that we could be installed in each and every home.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cover just two into two. It's just dimensions is that if there is an two into two space in our balcony or so that we can install that in our house. We'll dump all those generally waste, wet waste into that, and we'll get nearly 30-minute gas, biogas, 30-minute gas, which is sustained for our cooking. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 30 minutes of gas is not an huge, but that gas is generated from what the waste we have
Yes.
generated daily.
Ah, daily. Uh-huh.
That could be used for that gas could be stored and that could be used for our house cooking too.
Uh-huh.
Even I could have I could ask her about the same, and if anyone interested can contact.
Sure, sure, sure.
That generally uh, after the process it comes out as liquid waste, not as dry waste. So
Mm-hmm.
you can use for how we'll say that you can use for terrace farming too, and you can promote terrace farming there, reducing the use of this chemical fertilizers and improving the use of biofertilizers.
Mm-hmm. And others like sometimes like some it happened like especially in war times, those days especially. Like they said they put like salvinia plants in like lakes to show like they were
Yeah,
landing grounds for the enemies. I don't want to say which country did this, but in
yeah.
our country also this happened.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
then from
Okay,
on the
okay.
top they see like this is like a ground, and they try to land the planes, and then
Yeah, go.
so that
Yeah,
also was one big
exactly. It's
reason.
happening on Sanjeevana.
Yeah, because if you want to
Recently too, I had a
cover
news.
a lake with salvinia, my goodness, like you already had spread it, right? So then
Yeah,
from air, if you see it like a ground, so this happened in like the
yeah,
1940s. So then over the years, now
yeah.
it's like 60 or 80 years after. So how much it can spread, right?
But yes, exactly, exactly,
Uh-huh.
Sanjeevana.
So are there animals or like fish who eat these kind of plants and finish them quickly?
Yeah, there are biological organisms who feed on these plants too.
Uh-huh.
If there's another problem in that, if we deploy this biological microbes or organism to this particular ecosystem, they just feed on these plants first, and
Yes.
they will next feed on this native species in that particular
Uh-huh.
field, and they become invasive there.
Again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. After they finish this, they start eating the others,
Yeah,
no? That's also a problem.
they
They
become
can't
invasive there.
get rid of them
Yeah.
again.
Then again, yes, that's
Mm.
catfish population in Africa.
Uh-huh.
The similar case happened in Africa years back.
Mhm.
They just deployed this catfish for uh, consuming these stuffs.
Mhm.
They consumed these stuffs and they started to feed on the normal small fish. Uh, some good name is there for that small species of fish.
Mhm.
It has just endangered the total fish species in that particular
Mhm.
lake.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, then thank you so much,
So there are problems with that too.
Uh-huh. And it was so
Yeah,
wonderful, like you are sharing this, and then this will stay on the internet, and then anybody can refer to these things. And it's so valuable you are sharing this because
yeah,
people should know, no? The only thing, things like poverty and these kind of
exactly.
things
Yeah,
can keep people like trapped in that situation. But still there are things like you said, like use these their waste material in a proper way to discharge it, and they can turn it into something useful, no, just without dumping it to, or like even just like if your child had a pond or a fish tank, don't just go and throw it in the lake, no.
Yeah,
You can, because it's not
exactly. Yeah,
animal, right? You can let it dry and make a pit and cover it or put it inside, no, those like these
exactly. Yeah,
invasive plants,
yeah,
because you don't have to just go and throw it to a lake, no?
exactly. Yeah.
It's an animal, we don't have to kill the animals, but these are like
Mm.
plants, you can just let it be, you don't have to go and throw it all
Yeah.
to a lake, nearby
Throw
lake.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so valuable. So thank you so much, Adarsh. We'll surely put Adarsh
Thank
all
you.
the
Thank you, sir.
contacts and everything. Adarsh, if possible, please send me those details about how people can turn their how to say toilet waste into biodegradable
Okay, 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 okay.
please send me
That's
also.
just like it's just like a startup company. They
Oh,
are actually doing that same. If anyone is interested in that, I will connect them to that particular startup so that generally that normal human waste could be converted as an biomanure that could be used in fields for increased in productivity.
mm-hmm. Okay, okay.
Every single waste that is being generated by us could be used as an value added product for the use of other what we'll say that in another some ways.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure, sure. Okay, Adarsh, thank you so much,
Okay.
and I wish you
Thank
all
you.
the very
Thank you.
best of all the good
Thank you.
things you are already doing, and more good things to come. And hopefully we'll meet
Okay.
again, and we'll try to spread all these good
Okay.
things to the world and try to
Okay.
help more people.
Okay.
Eh?
Thank you.
Thank you, Adarsh.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you.
great
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
See you
Okay. Thanks,
soon.
sir.
Eh? Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.